Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your mother's favorite fighter, back with a special video. Today we're going to talk about KSI, the YouTuber turned boxer who hasn't stepped foot in the ring since his loss to Tommy Fury in 2023. But with his Misfits boxing promotion still making waves, everyone's asking, who should KSI fight next? Today we're breaking down the top contenders, why they make sense, and who's the best pick for KSI's big comeback. Now let's get into it. Before we dive into the matchups, let's recap KSI's career. KSI started the influencer boxing craze back in 2018, drawing over 20,000 fans to his amateur bout against Joe Weller. His rivalry with Logan Paul took it to a whole nother level, producing two massive pay-per-views, resulting in a draw in 2018 and a split decision win for KSI in 2019. Since then, he's gone pro, racking up a 5-1-1 record with wins over Luis Pineda, Swarms, FaZe Temper, and others, as well as a bout with Joe Fournier that was ruled a no contest due to an accidental elbow. His only official loss, a unanimous decision to Tommy Fury in October of 2023, a fight many felt was competitive but showed KSI's limits against a legit pro boxer. Since then, KSI's been quiet in the ring, focusing on Misfits boxing and recovering from a hand injury. But recent news, like his canceled fight with Dylan Dennis in March of 2025, proves he's itching to return. So who's next? Let's get into it. First up, the fight everyone's been begging for. KSI versus Jake Paul. These two have been rivals since the beginning of YouTube boxing even began, trading jabs online for years. Jake Paul, now an 11-1 pro, with wins over Nate Diaz, Mike Tyson, and a crazy KO over Mike Perry. But KSI's team has dodged this fight, according to Jake Paul, where he's called Misfits quote-unquote unserious and blaming them for the failed negotiations. But why does this fight make sense? 1. Hype factor. This is the biggest influencer boxing match possible, and it's promised to generate millions of pay-per-view buys. 2. Storyline. There's years of bad blood, plus KSI's Misfits and Jake Paul's most valuable promotions add a promotional rivalry. 3. The challenge. Jake Paul's size and experience makes it a tough but winnable fight for KSI. Going into this fight, there's a few pros and cons. The pros being massive payday and global attention. It also settles the quote-unquote who's the king of influencer boxing debate. And also, KSI having the speed advantage to counter Jake Paul's power shot. Now the cons, the weight classes. KSI usually fights around the 180, 185 range. Jake Paul fights around the 200 range. Another con being the risk of loss could hurt KSI's legacy, especially in the fashion of the loss. Lastly, Jake's team claims KSI is avoiding it, which suggests negotiation issues. This is a dream fight, but it feels further away than ever. If KSI wants to cement his legacy, he's got to make this fight happen, but maybe not next. Next up, we have former UFC star Darren Till, who called out KSI back in May of 2025. After going 2-0 in boxing, including wins over Darren Stewart and Anthony Taylor, Till's got legit striking from his MMA days and has fought at 185 pounds, which is close to KSI's weight. And he's hungry for a big money influencer fight. Now, why does this make sense? Few reasons. Credibility. Darren Till's a known combat sports name, making it a step up from names like Dylan Dennis. The excitement. Darren Till's trash talk and KSI's charisma would sell this fight majorly. And the competitiveness. The similar size and striking focus make it a pretty fair matchup. Now the pros and cons going into this bout. The pros being, you test KSI against a pro fighter without Tommy Fury's boxing pedigree. Also, appealing to both boxing and MMA fans, and Darren Till's recent activity means he's ready to go. The cons moving into this fight, it's a riskier fight than Dylan Dennis or Wayne Bridge, as Darren Till's got power, but it is a less mainstream fight than a Jake Paul or a Conor McGregor. Till's a dark horse pick, exciting, credible, and doable. This could be KSI's chance to prove he can hang with pro fighters. Last but not least, the mega fight, KSI versus Conor McGregor. KSI revealed in May of 2025 that a boxing match was nearly set on Alcatraz, but Conor backed out last minute. Conor is 0-1 in boxing, losing to Floyd Mayweather back in 2017, but his star power is unmatched. At 36, he's still a draw despite his UFC hiatus. But why does it make sense? Star power. KSI versus McGregor would break pay-per-view records. Storyline. It's a YouTuber versus MMA legend, which is a gold mine of a storyline. And it is winnable. McGregor's boxing skills are rusty, and KSI is younger and have been more active. Now the pros and cons going into this bout, the pros being the biggest possible fight outside of Jake Paul. KSI could exploit McGregor's stamina issues, which we've seen in his fight with Mayweather. Also, the global media coverage is guaranteed with this one. The cons. Conor McGregor is unpredictable, which might lead him to pulling out again. It's a high risk, which means a loss to Conor could sting KSI's reputation. Lastly, the size difference. Both guys are at different weights, which could complicate negotiations. This is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward fight, but Conor McGregor's flakiness makes it unlikely as KSI's next bout. So, who should KSI fight next? My pick is Darren Till, and here's a few reasons why. It's perfect timing. KSI needs a credible opponent after his loss to Tommy Fury, and Darren Till's a former UFC star and carries a lot of boxing momentum. It's competitive but winnable. Darren Till's striking is solid, but KSI has the boxing experience which gives him the edge. The hype factor. Darren Till's trash talk and KSI's charisma will definitely sell pay-per-views, especially headlining in the UK. The growth of Misfits Boxing. Booking Darren Till elevates Misfits Boxing's rep as a serious promotion. Now, Jake Paul's a dream fight, but weight and negotiation issues making it tough. Conor McGregor is way too unreliable, as Darren Till strikes the perfect balance. It's exciting, credible, and realistic for a late 2025 or early 2026 bout. Plus, fans on X are buzzing about Darren Till and other MMA crossovers such as Mike Perry or Nate Diaz, showing demand for this kind of matchup. KSI's next fight should define his boxing legacy. A win over Darren Till sets him up perfectly for Jake Paul or even a McGregor fight down the line. But what do you think? Should KSI fight Darren Till, Jake Paul, or someone else? Drop your picks in the comments and smash the like button if you want more boxing breakdowns. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.